There is no problems with a multicultural church as long as all the black folks go underneath white master. Most white people have not done the work necessary
to lead
to be able to effectively disciple a black person through all of the things, the challenges. Do you know what it's like to live in a black body in this country? Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Level Up and Laugh with Leo and Larry. We are here. It's been a while. You missed
It's been a while.
Y'all know y'all missed us. But this big timer over here is up in New York. Flossing.
Life be lifing. I got a teenager living in the house now. I am exhausted. You hear me?
I'm what? My daughter turns 11 this year, bro. I'm 2 years.
You gonna have a teenage daughter? That's Holy Ghost.
Hopefully Jeremiah be my help.
Ooh wee.
Too much. But we got to get into this white church mess.
Look, man. Precursor. All right. If PSA, if you have to agree with us on everything to be part of this channel, then I may as well bid you farewell. All right.
PSA. If you happen to say something crazy in the comments, you getting blocked. You going to the block party.
I don't know. I like to engage with the loose
Not
leaf.
on this one, bruh.
Loose leaf paper. Let's get
play
into
the clip.
Brought over into slavery, which wasn't right, but they got the gospel when they got here. And you know what? I bet you there's a lot of Africans that if they hadn't been brought over, not saying it was right, don't misunderstand, not justifying the slavery in the situation, but God, I still believe, used it. And now I'm sure there's a lot of Africans that got the gospel, and they're in heaven right now because they got the gospel. You know, what would be better? For them to have lived their entire life in Africa free, doing their voodoo or whatever, and then dying and going to hell, right? Or what happens? And then they go to heaven. They get the opportunity. Now, again, it doesn't justify it. The ends do not justify the means, but this is how God works. This is what God does in the Bible. And we have black people in here. I don't think any of you guys were ever slaves. I was never a slave. It's like, oh, white privilege. You were never a slave. You were never living during the time, unless you're very old, like 60 or 70 maybe, or 80 years old. You're never even living during a time where segregation was a thing in this country. I mean, what are you crying about? Nothing even happened to you. You're just making up stuff. You can't look at the facts that I was reading and just attribute that to some kind of white privilege. It's not real. Get over it. Quit having all the excuses. Why don't you take some responsibility for your choices, be content with whatever situation you were born into, and make the most of it. God's not limited to your situation. He can do above, what we ask for things.
Hold my mule. Hold my mule. While do you want to go first or you want me to go first? Because I feel it in my bones right here.
Yo, first of all, check the name of the church. Stronghold Baptist Church. Stronghold? Oh, yes. There is a heavy racist stronghold in that church in Norcross, Georgia.
Where is it?
Norcross.
Woo!
Not too far from you. I ain't going.
Norcross, Waycross. Boy, listen. First of all, it takes a high level of ignorance. It takes a very high level of I'm going to say it. Not audacity, caucasity. To think that God had to use slavery to spread the gospel.
Oh, you froze up, bro.
I didn't freeze up. I just stopped.
Yo, the entire and here's the thing that I appreciate he is saying what a lot of people think. He just so happened to say it out loud.
He keeps saying, not that it's right, but he contradicts himself by saying that it wasn't right to have 400 years of slavery, 400 years of stacking people, human beings on top of each other, taking them across the Atlantic, some of them not making it, some of them jumping to their death in the ocean because they would rather be dead than to be confined to slavery, right? You're saying that's not right, but then you turn around and tell the descendants of those people that there was no privilege established from the 400-year head start. Are you kidding me?
Let's just be real practical, okay? Let's be real practical. We're both business owners, right? We're both business owners, right?
Yes.
Imagine running a business and not paying your employees for 400 years. How y'all wonder why America is as wealthy as it is right now? It's not on accident,
bro.
That it was all just labor that you didn't have to pay for. You paid for it at the auction. It, keyword it, like it's an animal, like that. Man, we can't even go into all the atrocities that were done. Like, black people had to prove that they were humans.
So not only that, bro, this gentleman, and I use that very loosely, because I'm not going to say this man of God. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Heck no.
I'm not giving you that title, my boy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now, not only did you say that God somehow needed the transatlantic slave trade to spread the gospel, that in addition to that, the people that are living here that aren't in their 60s and 70s and 80s, those are the only ones who lived during segregation. So those are the only ones who have known. Do you know? Like, it's very hard to see something outside of yourself unless you either have a reason to or make a concerted effort to do it. Mm-hmm. And I venture to say, you, sir, are just regurgitating. You're vomiting out and spewing stuff that you've inhaled from so many other places, and you failed to do your research. You failed to... I would venture to tell you that the 5 to 10 people that are black in your church, I don't even know the size of his church, but I know he ain't got 25 members that are black. I know it. And I can guarantee he don't have 5 members that are in the leadership.
My friend, my best friend is black. What are you talking about?
Because to have the level of audacity, to have the level of saying, what are you complaining about?
Bro. And here's
let me finish my thought. Don't lose your thought. And the thing that you fail to realize is that having white privilege doesn't mean you have a soft life. It doesn't mean because you're white you get all the red carpets rolled out and everything comes your way and you win at everything. It doesn't mean that. It means that people don't give you a predisposition on the face of seeing you. A person that may have all the qualifications for a job and someone who is coming straight off the street
Mm-hmm.
One is Anglo, the other is black. Bring them into the same room, wearing the same exact clothing, similar haircuts. I guarantee you that one will have to prove himself worthy of being that room more than the other one, simply off the fact of how he looks, which he has no control over. And the whole reason that race was created, race is a construct. It was created because the upper class needed a reason to have the poor Anglos support them.
That isn't. Let's stop saying upper class. It's not just upper class.
No, I'm talking about the reason why it was created.
Yeah,
it was created to create an other, because it was just the poor versus the top echelon, the rich. They would be outnumbered and overthrown. So what can I do?
Let me talk.
What can I do to make these folks see a different enemy besides the ones that are in power? And I'll end with this before you go. The reason why they took out MLK was when he started doing the poor people's. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. This man just turned me all the way up.
Let me jump in. Okay, first of all, we got to stop making it poor versus rich. That's another thing that we like to act like, oh, it's a poor versus rich thing. No, it's not, because it's not communist versus capitalist, blah, blah, blah. No, there are races in communist countries too. So it has nothing to do. It's not necessarily the way in which a country, the economic system of a country. It was a way of justifying this horrific act that took place in America. Here, like we say, okay, we want to create an other. No, you have a bunch of people who profess to be Christians who are doing these things to another group of people, and there has to be a way of easing their conscience to believe that what they're doing is right.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the same exact thing that we have today. What is there an overtime effort to do? We have to ease white people's conscience, because we do not want to believe that we literally could do that to another human being. We don't want that on our heads. That is what this is, bro. Take it from me. I know. I have insider knowledge. I know what is going on. There is an overtime activity that's taking place amongst our Caucasian brethren, where they are working to say, come on, we're not that bad. We're not that bad. Just a bunch of excuses. It's not that bad. Yes, it is. And y'all still benefit from this today.
Mm-hmm.
And let me get into the absolute idiotic statement. Oh, they were probably over there doing voodoo. Listen, brother, Mr. Man, Mr. Bible Man, Mr. Bible Scholar. Why don't you read your Bible? Because when I read my Bible, guess what? Black people got the gospel before y'all did. The gospel went to Africa before it ever went to Europe. We can even look in the book of Acts. Oh, who did Philip pull up on? Who did Philip pull up on when God sent him to the eunuch of where? Ethiopia. Where is Ethiopia? It's not in England. It's not in Ireland. It is in Africa. And every credible source that we know the gospel went to Africa way before it came to Europe. Y'all just learned how to monetize it better. Y'all learn how to distribute it and monetize it and make it more of a tool to that you can use to rule and subject other people to yourselves. But y'all didn't get it before people in Africa did. The oldest church in the world is in Ethiopia to this day. So y'all miss me with your whitewashed revisionist history that is only made to ease your conscience, because that's all it is. It is a never-ending way, because they never want to deal with the reality of what happened to them, that their ancestors and their ancestors did. And it's not to say, am I made to be held responsible for everything that my ancestors have done? No. But do I have to say, okay, based upon the circumstances, I have to deal with the hand that I was dealt? Yes. And if I have to, as a black person, or if you have to, as a black person, just have to make do with what you're given, so do you. You have to make do with your caucasity. You have to make do with the fact that you are privileged and you did not earn it. That you never have to have the same conversation with your children about the police that we do. You never have to worry about your children being discriminated. You never have to worry about a plethora of things that we have to living in this crazy world that we got dragged to. Oh, you were never a slave. Yeah, you're right. But the slaves are the one that built this country. And the ancestors and the people who are descendants of the slaves get no benefit from that. Black people, stay out of white people's churches. Honestly, it's not safe. It's just not. Hot take.
That's a hot take.
Okay. Hot take. I'm just saying, like, I honestly, and I don't know. I'm okay. Newsflash, everyone, I'm mixed. I have a white mom, black dad. I've always leaned more towards. And this is a whole conversation, because, like, I know people bring up the whole mix thing. Like, dude, I've come to the conclusion the world doesn't see me as mixed. In certain cases, they see me as black or Hispanic, depending on what you think about me, what you might assume. There is no mixed. Do people call Obama a mixed president? Mm-mm. No, he's black. And as somebody who is black, honestly, I just don't vibe with white. I've served under one white pastor, and I don't want to make blanket statements. Okay. I've been underneath the black pastor and I've been underneath the white pastor. I'll be honest. I felt way more comfortable under a black pastor. I just did. I did. It just is what it is, bruh. It is what it is. And especially if they have the audacity to say some things like that. But here's the thing. At least he's saying it out loud. At least he's making it public. A lot of people feel that way. They just don't tell you.
Do it undercover, bro. Okay. Story time.
Oh, boy.
Story time with Leo. So once upon a time, I was a youth pastor in a church that will remain unnamed. And I had a predominantly black and Hispanic youth group in a predominantly white church in terms of the adult congregation, the tithe paying congregation. And we would have our monthly meetings. I would be the only person that's black in that boardroom. And we would discuss things that are going on, events, so on and so forth, budgets. One meeting, I realized, and it came not from the pastor, but from another lay leader. And she, native and white, I don't know. I don't think
We
so.
always
Her
got to throw a
husband's
little
native.
curveball in when we're about to say some mess.
But I realized that the kids that I was bringing in were not valued. Dare I say, their souls were not valued in the same as those that carried a different hue. And yes, you're going to feel uncomfortable. You have to in order to have a real conversation. And I don't care if you're from that church and you see this. I'm 40 years old. I was 20 in my early 20s in that position. And it stuck with me until now. And it'll probably be with me forever. Something was said, I won't get into the details, that told me that those kids that looked like me were not valued and welcomed in that space. You know what I did? I got up before the meeting ended, I folded my booklet, and I walked out. My assistant youth pastor, who was older than me, white gentleman, God rest his soul, loved him, met him in the kitchen because he came in for prayer, and I hugged him, tears in my eyes, and said, "Hey man, I'm gonna have to resign tomorrow." And he said, "Why?" My heart was so broken, and I know his heart would have been too. Because I that's why I say that some people know it and some don't. I know his heart would have been broken if I shared what happened in that room with him. I said, "Bro, I don't think it's fruitful for me to share that with you."
I don't want to cut you off, but that's the part that I feel like gets missed in a lot of this. Like, a lot of people, you're like, "Come on, stop making it about race and all this different stuff." In situations like this, when my humanity and the equality of my soul compared to another gets into question, that a black person cannot feel safe around people who don't understand what that's like to live in that body 24/7 in this culture. And it's like, even though I'm not going to say everything in the black church is oh,
there's some things we gonna hit on too. Yes, there's no perfect, no, not one. But we have to be open to have the dialogue, and you have to be receptive to the critique, or there's no evolution. There's no growth.
Not dismiss it just because you don't know what that's
like. You're not acquainted with it.
So you automatically dismiss it because you were taught. And again, it's going back to that teaching that I need to ease their conscience. And I see it in all types of cultures and all types of situations, every political background, right? Whether left or right, I see there's a different, it's the same bird, left, right, same bird. Okay. And it's just like, it becomes overwhelming having to explain certain things when you're around people. But when you're around people, especially in a church where you're supposed to be the most safe,
oh yeah,
it's better to be around people that you don't have to even explain. Like, there's an unspoken understanding that you don't have to explain. We just know.
Bro. So after I left, I was beyond heated. And I know not to make a decision in a rush of emotion. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to school. After school, I was in college at the time, go to my classes. After my classes, I'm going to swing by the office, the church office. I'm going to tender my resignation. And while there, I had my mind made up. The pastor called, apologized profusely. Did he chastise?
No.
He apologized to me.
Yeah.
For their ignorance, but he didn't take the time to teach them.
No. How could he teach him something he doesn't know how to teach? And furthermore, here's the thing I don't really like. I know people are going to have a big issue with what I said about not going to a white church. Well, I don't really see that many white people going to a black church. Oh, unless you're a leader, you'll have a black congregation, but will you go to a black church and serve underneath a black leader? See, there is no problems with a multicultural church as long as all the black folks go underneath white master.
Oh, the comments are flaming right now. Hey, this should be a clip right here. That right there. Clip that right there. Clip that right there.
But we should all sit underneath a white pastor who does not even know how to pastor. Most white people have not done the work necessary
to lead,
to be able to effectively disciple a black person through all of the things, the challenges. Do you know what it's like to live in a black body in this country? You don't. So why is it that you should submit your soul to somebody like that?
You dropping a bar, bro. Yikes!
Got unleashed. 2025, we coming out.
Wow. Oh my God.
And then furthermore, we have kids. Why do we want our kids doing the same thing? Yo, it's tight, but it's right, man. It's just the reality. It's just the reality, bro. It's not. No one is saying, "Oh, we can't have white friends. We can't." I have plenty of white friends. I have white family that I love. Okay, that I love. Like that, I actually have tight connections with. I have white friends who are pastors that I pray for, that I care about, that I actually literally care about. Like, we have really close friendships. But can I be pastored by a white person? Will I bring my family, who I'm married to a black woman, so my kids are black? Why would I bring my family into a white church to submit under a white pastor that can't even understand the challenges that come with that? No, I just can't. It's not me trying to be anything. It's just me telling the truth, dog. It's just, I'm telling the truth. Like, I cannot, I just, listen, I can't keep talking, because if I keep talking, it's just going to
And, bro, to define a safe space, it has to be a space where I don't feel like I have to explain my existence.
Or I don't feel like I have to code switch.
Or dim my light to fit in.
Or code switch. And there's code switching in church.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all know y'all football. Y'all black folks know that when you in a black space and the spirit hit, you ain't about to be doing no patty cake. You about to get down. That's how it is. It's just, and that's the part I don't think people realize, that there is code switching in church. The way I worship, I'm going to worship different if there's not a collective understanding of the way that we worship, the way that preaching goes. All of these different things, they matter, bro. And if you're going to be serving the Lord, it's not to say, and again, there's going to be all types of people who are going to come at all in so many different ways about these comments that I'm making. And again, that's just reaffirming the training that you have been given in this country to justify what happened in this country. Like there was no way that you as a Christian could do that to another human being for so long without deep training on how to seal your conscience, to make yourself believe that that was okay. And it's still happening to this day. Ron DeSantis. Oh,
that's my governor right now, boy, in Florida.
We're not going to allow. We got to get rid of all history books. All history books. That we have to approve every single history book that comes through here to make sure that they're not learning they're not
learning white guilt.
Yeah. But what about all the black students in that go to school there? Who's going to teach them? And that's why I begin on, and now I'm gonna get mad at the black church, because, like, listen, these are opportunities, fam. And then two, what I don't like about what I really don't like, man, this is gonna be a long episode, but fine. What I don't like is this need of this feeling, and I don't believe it's always, but I sense it. This feeling, and the reason I can sense it is because I know it so well, because I had to experience it my whole life. This needing of having to be feeling, this subconscious feeling that you feel like you need to be accepted by white people.
We're building a multicultural.
This ain't just a black church. This is everybody church. But who's here? Who is here?
And I have yet to hear a large
white church
say, "Hey, this ain't just a white church."
But that's in that is. I've seen white churches, white pastors say that, like, yeah, we're a multicultural, but that's more like, what do you call it? Manifest destiny spirit, bro. Like, yo, we are colonizing this city for Jesus. But from the black church, it's like it's not coming from okay, we're gonna try to make everybody like us. It's more like the only way that we can feel significant is if what we're doing comes with a white stamp of approval.
Sad.
And that is the part that really aggravates me, because when leaders do that, it takes away from the discipleship that black people need from their pastor. Because you're trying to impress Mr. White Man, who you will never impress him enough. No matter how much money you make, no matter how much, whatever status, how big of a following, at the end of the day, no
matter how much you bleach your skin, Sammy Sosa. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I loved Sammy growing up. That was my guy.
Yeah, until he went and bleached himself to high heavens.
I mean, that's bro. Don't even get into that. That is a whole world. But that shows you.
I digress.
But bro, no matter what you do, you're never gonna fully be accepted by this culture, because it's in this culture's DNA to say white is right. White is right. And that, bro, that is the most disheartening part. Man. This code switch, I need to feel some level of, I need to get some white stamp of approval in order for me to feel like what I'm doing is significant, bro. And to be honest, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. And you cannot tell me that black folks that are in a white church don't feel that pressure every single time they go to worship. Whether it's conscious or subconscious, it is real and it happens and it's the truth. And I don't have any answers for anything that I'm saying, but I am saying it's real, and you can say what I'm saying is false, but all that does is confirm the fact that you've been trained very well.
And here's the thing. When he says there's black people in this church, just because they're in there don't mean they agree with you. And you have to take that power back and be like, bro, I don't agree with that. And that's why I have friends and colleagues that we are diametrically opposed on so many things, but we agree on a handful of things, and that's what we talk about. That's our common ground, and we're cool. But just because he's in my house doesn't mean I accept everything he stands for, and just because I'm in his house doesn't mean I accept everything that he stands for. And when you're in that sanctuary, and that man points you out as his get out of jail free card, there's black people in this church. That's my cue to be like, sir, I'm leaving.
And that, I see that as a problematic across many pulpits. Like to just because you say something, fam, that don't mean that just because I'm here that I agree with you.
For real. And that's why you got to vote with your feet. When you invoke that, I'm out. Because that means that you are taking my presence as acceptance. No, sir. And that's why I said before this episode started, you might not agree with everything that I'm rocking with or everything that I believe. Or
I don't need no disclaimer, bro. Forget that.
You ain't gotta agree. Hey, and if you feel like, hey, you being here is a tacit agreement and you can't be here, that's cool.
Don't feel like we want people. Honestly, we want to build a community of people. Again, I don't want to have to feel like I'm walking on eggshells because certain people follow this channel. You either accept us for who we are or you don't. Like, what the heck?
Is or is yay?
Y'all don't pay none of our bills, okay? Like, at all.
Is or is yay? And I say that to say that when you automatically grab someone's presence as a way to pacify or to say, hey, it's okay, because and people will say this, like, oh, my sister's married to a black man. My sister has mixed kids. And they will go on to speak. That doesn't give you any pass whatsoever.
You can be married to a black person, and that does not mean you're not racist.
A to the men.
What the heck? Being racist, like your association with another black person does not make you not racist.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make yourself not racist by not being racist. Do you understand? Does that make sense to you? You have to understand in your brain that you are not better than anybody else, number one. And then number two, you have to understand that because of your ethnicity, you have privileges that other people do not. And you can decide what you're going to do with those privileges or not.
Yeah.
But just because you want to pretend that they don't exist, that does not mean they don't. Because they do.
And remember, race is a social construct
that y'all made up
to divide.
We didn't make it up.
To divide and conquer. All right, man. We were supposed to be a quick hitter, but 40 minutes in, I think they get it. Yo,
all right, y'all. Hey,
if you're leading a congregation and you want it to be a safe space for Black people to attend or people of color, it has to be intentional and it has to be weaved through the fabric of your organizational culture.
Yeah, I guess.
But Larry's like, bump it. Because it takes so much work to do it right.
I haven't seen. I just have not. It's so rare to come across someone who's actually willing and able to do that it's just like. Hey y'all, but hey, it's all love. We love you, but we love ourselves too.
Let's continue the conversation in the comments. I might even hop in the comments this time.
All right, y'all. We'll see you later. Peace.